Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. So, I've got some behind the scenes information that I think will help you all navigate your experience much more efficiently in the days ahead. So, I know that a lot of people right now are being triggered with anger issues, and their anger is coming to the surface because it needs to be healed. So, the thing about anger is that it is unique. When we experience anger, it's common for us to look back at that experience and feel shame, or we feel like, that wasn't us. How did that happen? Almost as if anger took over unconsciously without your control or your involvement. And this is because that anger is a subconscious response that was embedded in you as a survival mechanism when you observed someone in your environment who was impressionable towards you expressing anger, and then we internalize and it becomes a subconscious program. This must be how we survive in this reality. So then, those situations happen when you're a little kid and you're still learning what you need to do to survive or function in this place. So you observe the adults in your environment, you see how they're doing it, and then that becomes an unconscious response for you as you move forward into adulthood. So it is such a huge revelation to understand that that anger is not unique to you, that it was actually generated from someone else and imprinted on you. So what you're responding to is unconscious. And that's why, we go through anger and we feel like it's uncontrollable until we're outside of that experience looking back, wishing we would have done things differently. The problem is if you continue indulging in that anger, the people who you're leaving an impression on are also going to pick that up, and then the cycle continues. So what we want to do is end that cycle, and you can end that cycle by making peace and bringing forgiveness to the one who left an impression on you to respond in a certain way. So if you can identify the source of that anger, indulging in that anger becomes less and less and less attractive. And it's likely that that person you observed producing that anger is doing the same cycle that you're going through now. They received that programming from somebody else, and that cycle was passed down to you. So if you're experiencing a lot of anger right now, you're not alone. I know that I could not even begin this work in the Akashic Records until I dealt with and healed my anger issues, and that was the very first domino to fall for me, and then everything else came into alignment after that. So keep that in mind. It's a deep issue. It's a layered issue. It's not as simple as anything I've put here. But what is important is that you've identified that it is not who you really are. It is a result of an experience you had. Also, empaths right now are being bombarded, and it's a war out there for an empath. And that is because everybody that we encounter during our day are wearing their triggers on their sleeve. And this doesn't necessarily mean that they're walking around, just being a complete bummer to everybody. But everyone's kind of got this triggered response on the tip of their tongue, ready to bring out if someone contradicts something within their belief system or something they're in alignment with. So people kind of, even though they may have a calm demeanor on the surface, that trigger is right on the tip of their tongue, and empaths pick up on that easily. So without that person ever having to speak something into the air, empaths are picking up that energy they're producing under the surface, and then they are either claiming it as their own, or they're seeing it as belonging to someone else and, letting it stay put where it is. So something an empath will do, they're not aware that they're an empath, or if they haven't really sharpened their skills as an empath, is that they will observe the energy or, whatever is being produced by somebody else, and then they will take that on as their own. They don't understand that it came from a source somewhere else. So it's in alignment with anger. It is something that presents itself to us as if it belongs to us. But we need to be aware that we are responsible for what we allow and what we don't allow within our field. In this experience, it's an exchange of everything. It's an exchange of energy. It's an exchange of emotion. It is an exchange of frequency and vibration, and everything that fits into those categories. So be aware during your day what is being exchanged. What are other people projecting to you? Are you accepting what they're projecting and absorbing it into your own field? Or are you protecting yourself and maintaining your integrity and managing your vibration efficiently? That's what it really boils down to, is effectively managing your vibration and identifying anything that would attempt to diminish or lower that vibration. Doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. It's just about an educated eye observing this experience through a multitude of different sensory systems, and then assigning those energies to their respective category. Good for me, bad for me, complementing the new me, or reverting me back to the old me. The thing about anger and the thing about being an empath, absorbing things from others, is that it often diminishes or changes our inner voice. So our inner voice as old souls and as light workers is our most valuable commodity. And the reason that I had to heal my anger issues before I set out on this path as an Akashic Records practitioner is because the inner voice was very poor. The inner voice was not giving me the feedback that I responded to. So how did that look? What did that look like before? For example, I've been doing this YouTube work now consistently for 14 months. So it's been a little while now. Before that, I had always dreamed about doing this work, or I had always anticipated a time where I would be motivated enough and comfortable with myself enough to put myself out there to make videos like this. I delayed a long time because the inner voice prevented me from doing that. So what was I hearing from the inner voice at the time before all this sit-down YouTube video style work started? My inner voice would tell me I should go record a video. Oh, but my hair looks weird, or I'm not a communicator like I want to be, or I don't have the charisma that I want to, or I don't have the presence on camera that I think will generate interest and get views from people. So that would prevent me from getting the video produced at all. How it's changed now is that inner voice is still there and that critical feedback is still there, but I accept it within my field as constructive criticism aside from just criticism. So when I produce content now, I see that criticism being constructive and I implement it and improve what I'm doing. So it's not stopping me from starting, it's assisting me in getting started and being productive and creative, and then it is allowing me to refine that creativity instead of just stopping it altogether. So if you can learn to take the inner voice's feedback as being constructive in the way that it's meant to, then that's going to go a long way for you, and you're going to be able to build momentum and better yourself because you're allowed to take action and you can identify through self-study what you can improve on and what you should let go of. Once you get the anger issues dealt with, and once you sharpen your skills as an empath and educate yourself on what that is, the inner voice is a lot more constructive, it's a lot more complimentary, and it's not going to seek to stop you from moving forward. So the inner voice and the ego, are they two different things? Are they one and the same? You know, both have an appropriate use and both have an inappropriate use based on what you're looking to accomplish. If you can change your perspective on the inner voice and see its feedback as being constructive, it will allow you to accelerate your self-improvement in a way that you've never experienced before. So keep that in mind. What things are coming to the surface now to be healed? What education do you need to receive in order to use these psychic senses properly? You need to begin a process of trusting yourself and studying yourself without judgment, and then you will find an unbiased opinion about who you really are and what you can do to better yourself going forward. Anyway, thank you very much, you guys. I will see you soon.